Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Welcome back to the channel. Who have we got in the chat? 2 people watching at the moment. How is everybody doing? Thank you so much for stopping by. So, we're going to wait for a few more people to join, and then we're going to get into what we're going to be talking about in today's video, because it is quite an interesting subject, to say the least. Very interesting subject relating to No Man's Sky and relating to the community as a whole, you know, the general No Man's Sky community. We also have Casper Blackbird in the house. How are you doing, Casper Blackbird? Good to have you along, buddy. Pretty sensitive stuff we're going to be talking about in today's video. I say sensitive. We're going to be talking about the state of the No Man's Sky community in its current form, because it's a little divided, to say the least, in terms of people's opinions on the game, in terms of future visions for the updates and things like that. Casper says, great, looking forward to sensitive stuff. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing, sensitive stuff. Alright, let's try that. There we go. I'm messing with a few settings, so sorry if it buffers for anyone. I'm messing with settings as I'm speaking, so sorry about that. But yeah, we'll start in just a second. Let me just change a few things around to make sure the audio is as crisp as it can be, because I don't think it is at the moment. How's the audio? Is the audio good quality? I'm not sure. I need to adjust a few things, but yeah. So, let's just crack on. So, the No Man's Sky community as a whole. What do you guys think, first of all, before I move into anything? What do you guys think of the community in its current form? Do you like where it's at? Do you think it could be better? Do you think it could be improved? So on, so forth. Let me know. What do you think? Same as before? Good? No? Oh, okay, cool. Alright, maybe I don't need to adjust that then. Maybe everything is a... Okay, cool. So, the community. Now, the No Man's Sky community has a strange misconception, in my opinion, that asking for things such as more colours, variation, a better gameplay loop, is apparently hating on the game, you know? And I don't know if any of you have come across this on Twitter or YouTube or anything like that. I have come across things like that. It's pretty much when a good example is, say for example, I tweet out an image of an old build of No Man's Sky. People will claim that I'm hating on Hello Games. Now that's just an example of what I've seen some community members do. So that's kind of what we're going to be delving into in today's video. The state of the community, where are we at, and we're also going to touch on the way Hello Games does updates. Mainly talking about, do you guys want to see more frequent updates in terms of an update every, 3-4 months? Or do you want to see an update every half a year, which is pretty much what they're currently doing at the moment? Spoilers, I want to see a more frequent updates. A, it keeps people playing the game, and B, it's very kind to us content creators, because as many of you probably may have picked up on, the lead up to Beyond was a pretty not a good time for No Man's Sky content creators, mainly because we weren't really getting news. You know, there was a big lack of news drops and updates and community communication, pretty much, from Hello Games to the community, which I'm really hoping we get more of in the future. Really do. And I'm going to feature a Legacy Zero tweet. Let me pull it up, because Legacy Zero is spot on the money today. He's been spot on the money, and he's been tweeting a good few things about No Man's Sky and the truth about No Man's Sky. So, this is the first tweet. So, I'll be honest, I've barely played since I put my Beyond review out. Beyond added almost nothing to the game that wasn't already there in a significant fashion. To me, the game hasn't changed much since Next. Hello Games have yet to take advantage of the potential that No Man's Sky has. There you go. And he also followed it up with a few other tweets. I can't remember. Here we go. I hate to say it, but the only way Hello Games can maintain my interest in No Man's Sky going forward is if they return to Visions and the Abyss way of doing things. No more, excuse me, no more year-long waits for massive updates that don't change the way you experience it. And final one that I'm going to cover, then we're going to talk about it. 2018 was a great year for No Man's Sky. 3 big updates, more transparency and communication, more interest, and what I thought was Hello Games beginning to realise the game's potential. How they ever reverted from that is baffling to me. Okay, so there we have it, guys. Legacy Zero is talking about how No Man's Sky kind of doesn't really utilising their full potential was the words he was using. Now, I want to get your guys' opinion and take on this. Do you agree with Legacy Zero, or do you think that he's kind of barking up the wrong tree and maybe he should be, you know, Critical Optimist? How are you doing, buddy? Says, I don't mind either way. I just want to know what to expect and when to expect it. Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of another downside that Hello Games have been doing. They've kind of been putting out these updates, what do you call it? Putting out these updates a little bit too far apart, if you know what I mean, you know? And that's personal opinion, obviously. Personal opinion. Some people say, oh, you know, it's fine waiting half a year or whatever it is for an update. Some people want more frequent updates, things like that. And I want to get your take on it. We have Starman in the house, says, hi buddy and fellow traveller. How are you doing, Starman? So yeah, what do you think, Starman, of this whole community thing? Because at the moment the community is kind of divided in terms of stuff they wanted in Beyond, stuff that didn't come in Beyond, and also time frames of updates. Do you want to see frequent updates like Visions and the Abyss? Or would you be more than happy to wait a year, or a half a year, or 3/4 of a year for a more substantial update? Really interested to hear your thoughts and opinions on that one, because I think that's one of the main kind of talking points at the moment in terms of No Man's Sky and community things and things like that. So yeah, pretty much. Also, I've noticed something. The donation ticker thing that is like right under me, I need to update it. It hasn't been updated since August, maybe even before that. So if you've donated to the channel and your name hasn't appeared for like a month, I'm sorry. I need to just literally hit 2 buttons to update it. Sorry about that. Just in case, lovely username, buddy, says, I need all future updates today. Huge and juicy. Yes, definitely. And a second ago I was featuring one of Legacy Zero's tweets where he was saying he hasn't played much of Beyond since the initial update, or since his review went out, because in all fairness there wasn't much stuff to do in Beyond, you know. The gameplay loops are alright and things like that, but once you kind of get to the centre, once you've got an S-class everything, there isn't a driving motivation to continue, if you know what I mean, you know. The only thing that will propel you forward is to A, start a new save, or B, kind of get involved in base building, you know. To be honest, I just wanted variation and not the multiplayer, which always deflated the object of being a lonely traveller for me. Variation should have been an easy fix, which they've strangely avoided. Yeah, now they've either strangely avoided it because they have something big planned for variation in the future, which is could be likely, or they've just kind of focusing on multiplayer, getting that perfect, and then they're going to focus on variation and things like that. But yeah, completely agree with you, Starman. It's a little bit odd how Beyond kind of catered more towards the VR/online target audience. It really is, buddy. Justin K says, I would love to see a few biomes on the same planet. That is the key, in my honest opinion. It is. I want to show you something. I did post this out on Twitter yesterday. It was this. Which is relatable. This is relatable, isn't it? So, No Man's Sky community. Are you going to enhance exploration and variation? Sean. Well, we want to focus on multiplayer as it's... Then the community. Be a lot cooler if you did. This is the truth, guys. This is the truth. And I also want to talk about the art style. Because I posted this today, saying Purple Lush I found in No Man's Sky Foundations build. This is the sci-fi look that we need back in the game. Take a look at this, guys. This is No Man's Sky. You know, this is what, in my honest opinion, No Man's Sky should have been, you know. Imagine if they kept this old art style and worked on that, instead of introducing kind of washed out colours that aren't so interesting and appealing. Because in my opinion, those screenshots are No Man's Sky, summed up. Honestly, I would look to see random battles and not just freighter battles. It would, yeah. Rare moons. Yeah, I would love things like that, yeah. Sword, how you doing, buddy? Beyond brought us VR and made No Man's Sky one of the largest VR games in the world. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not sitting here saying that VR was, you know, a bad move and they shouldn't have done it. I'm just saying that VR was great and all, you know, but kind of more players were hoping for some single player stuff, which didn't come, unfortunately. I know milking and things like that came, but I think lots of people had very high expectations with Beyond, which maybe was another issue with Beyond, people having too high expectations. But at the end of the day, VR, brilliant. Online, okay. You know, and Legacy Zero went out on Twitter today and kind of said the truth. You know, the truth about No Man's Sky. He was talking about how 2018 was a great year. 3 updates, Hello Games realising the potential, and then he said how they reverted from it is baffling. He was also talking about how he's lost interest in the game because Beyond added almost nothing to the game that wasn't already there in a significant fashion. To me, the game hasn't changed much from Next. And that is Legacy Zero's quote. That isn't mine, that's Legacy Zero's. So, I mean, the community is divided. There's people out there claiming that No Man's Sky is, you know, it's finished. Which I don't think No Man's Sky is finished. It's definitely not finished. There will be updates and things like that. They truly need a pro patch for PS4, yeah. Did someone say Space Dungeons? Yeah. Beyond didn't have enough content to deserve my time over Madden 20 and Red Dead 2 online yet. Starman says, I don't get why Fauna is still so boringly repetitive, regardless of what colour, star systems or proportion in the galaxies they're in. Exactly. What happened to procedural generation? What happened to procedural generated colours? Also, that's another thing. Casper Blackbird says gameplay loops feel way too short and kind of shallow, where game becoming 2.0 with... Yeah, 2.0 again. Should they have called it a 2.0 is another question. But from launch to now is a 2.0. But from Visions to Beyond isn't a 2.0 in my opinion. Sword says, to be fair, this scenario plays out. Every update, YouTuber creates hype. YouTube creators hop on the hype train, chasing views and subs, and shortly afterwards switch trains and hop aboard the hate train. No, okay, if you're targeting at me, buddy, no, I'm not hating on Hello Games at all. I'm just kind of questioning their questioning why they decided to focus less on single player, which pretty much, you know, 70-80% of the game is people playing single player. Only about 30%, I think Sean said VR and things like that. VR's great, online's great. Component 3 I was hoping to be like a Visions and Abyss style combined into one. Because that's the time they spent on each component roughly, was the rough time frame they spent on the Abyss and Visions. So that's kind of what I, myself, MZK, Legacy Zero, Captain Steve was saying. But yeah, I'm not hating on Hello Games. People that come in the stream and, you know, it kind of does seem like I'm used to sitting here every other day hating on Hello Games. I'm not. I love Hello Games. I love No Man's Sky. I play it pretty much every day. I just see the potential within the game, and I want Hello Games to unlock that. If you know what I mean. I hope that kind of, you know, settles the air. To be fair, this scenario, I've already read that. They should add online dating service to the game. How about no, buddy? Cheers from Brazil. How you doing in Brazil, buddy? Awesome. Sword says, I'm sorry, Hello Games has updated since release for free. No one who has this game has paid a dime for these updates, and content creators that don't play the game have a far easier time complaining it. Yeah. I mean, again, if that's targeting at me, I play the game every day. I think I've clocked almost 1,000 hours on Steam since I got my new PC in beginning of July. So I do play the game, believe it or not, guys. I do know what's in the game, and I do know the potential within No Man's Sky, and I want to see them unlock it, you know? So does Legacy Zero, MZK, Captain Steve, there's a bunch of other creators out there that kind of were a little bit disappointed with Beyond. And since I'm not the only one disappointed with Beyond, I think it's fair to say that lots of people weren't, you know? I'm not hating. But yeah, Hello Games free update, you know, I'm not saying, you know, things like that, but I'm sorry, buddy, it was a generalization. Got you, Sword, got you. I thought it was, but I was just saying if it was targeted at me, which I knew it wasn't, but yeah. Yeah. Adding points of interest in galaxies, like an alien colony maybe. More life in the whole galaxy. Yes, definitely, buddy. There's a lot of things that need much more attention than multiplayer. We need more variety and more mission content. There's definitely, I can't remember the words Legacy Zero used. I'll pull it up on screen if I can find it. Here we go. If I can find it, maybe he's deleted it. I can't remember. Here we go. So, this is coming from Legacy Zero. He said, No Man's Sky should focus on realizing its own potential and executing on it, filling its universe with significance and reason, and the carrots at the end of the stick. That is exactly what the point of these streams are, guys. Kind of realizing the potential within No Man's Sky. And it's kind of like a live speculation thing about, kind of like a live kind of mind map thing, you know, where we're saying, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this happened? Wouldn't it be cool if they added this? Wouldn't it be cool if they focus more on exploration in Beyond, or missions in Beyond, or online in Beyond, or VR, and things like that, you know? This isn't a session to dig at Hello Games, if anybody thinks that, you know? There's a lot of things that need much more attention. I've already read that. R. Flet says, I brought the game after Beyond, so I didn't pay for the new... No. There's been no... every update, buddy, is free for No Man's Sky. That's the beauty of No Man's Sky. every update is free. So you, even if you brought the game after Beyond, every single future update for you will be free. Plus you got the 6-7 updates previously, so you have started on a really good build of the game, Arflet. I still keep seeing 1.2 on the other hard drive from GOG and playing it separately from time to time. Exactly. Yeah, 1.2 was a nice build. It really was a really nice build. For me, No Man's Sky lost its interest because the game lost its magic. It is not true procedural tech. Exactly. A couple of terrains on a couple of biomes, and that mix. Exactly. I mean, myself and many others sees the potential within the engine, you know? And adding a few more handcrafted biomes is not the answer, in my opinion. Yeah, it just isn't. No Man's Sky has still got a long way to go in terms of the proc gen, you know? And that isn't hating. Oh, thank you so much, Static-esque, for subscribing. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, buddy. Thank you so much. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, we see the potential within the proc gen. It's just a matter of utilising it properly, you know? I was the biggest fan, but they forgot what their game is about. At the end of the day, No Man's Sky is about exploration. It is. It's an exploration game. The back of the box says No Man's Sky is an exploration game set in an infinite procedural sci-fi universe. No mentions of milking machines, no mentions of Nexus and things like that, you know? At the end of the day, the core of No Man's Sky is exploration. So I don't see why it is such a problem and people get so annoyed when we ask, you know, about exploration and question exploration and things like that. Because at the end of the day, if you get so triggered about people asking for exploration and things like that, you need to honestly consider your stance. They did forget what their game is about, 100%. These guys, how you doing, Joystick Guru? Awesome to have you along. Sinner says they need to build cities or towns, fully colonized planets, new storylines. Yeah, that's kind of the gameplay loop, if you know what I mean. Kind of a purpose. Not just, you know, going down to planets and smelling flowers, you know. They have spent too much time trying to I can't speak. They have spent too much time trying to appease the people that don't play the game, that's understanding what the hardcore players want. Yeah. I don't know if any of you have seen my video of me covering... It was like a concept update for No Man's Sky that I found on Reddit. It was called Infinity. It was called Infinity. And it's basically... like a mock-up procedural update. And I did do that video about maybe 3-4 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I can't remember. Yeah, but we need more stuff to explore, not just planets itself, but more stuff within the planet. Yeah. Yeah, kind of like more like maybe buildings, monoliths, ruins, and these planets that you see on screen now, on the screenshot, they are rubbish in my opinion. I don't know, does any of you like these biomes? They're good for when you first land on them, but when you land on them second, third, fourth time, they're kind of a bit repetitive, you know? They're not biomes in my opinion. Well, they are, but you know. Is more variation not possible because of PS4 limitations? Oh no. PS4 limitations obviously are part of the equation here and there, but that PS4 limitations does not hinder variation and more biomes and things like that. No. You can add 1 million more biomes to the game and it wouldn't have any impact on performance, just because the PS4 isn't obviously rendering all the planets. The only things that are stored on disk are things like that, you know. And another thing I want to talk about is misconceptions in the game, you know. I'm not going to mention any names on the stream, but there's a few individuals out there that class us doing shows like this, hating on Hello Games, you know, when they have to try and defend Hello Games by claiming, oh, you know, every update was free, you didn't have to pay for anything, things like that, you know. Which kind of is a little bit... I get it, I'm not hating on Hello Games, but it may seem that way. But at the end of the day, I've stated many times, you know, I'm just here bullet pointing things that could be possible, and it is possible, you know, so... Pon stream, P-O-N stream, P0N stream, I don't know how you say it, but how you doing, buddy? Need some sort of progression in the game through procedurally generated dungeons. Wouldn't that be cool? Procedurally generated dungeons. Oh, also, I've just been informed that Tier 5 is now available on the PlayStation 4. So if you're on PS4 and you have enough Quicksilver, go get those shoulder pads. Joystick Guru says, do you think if Hello Games would have done a reset with more proc gen, that would have had their complaints? Yeah, of course they would have had complaints. They would have had these. Oh, thank you. I'm not going to try and pronounce that because I'm probably going to butcher it. But you can see your name. You know who you are. Thank you so much for subscribing. Do you think Hello Games would have done a reset with more proc gen if they would have had these complaints? That's a good question, that is. That's a very good question. I mean, I'm not complaining. Again, another misconception. This isn't complaining. This is me kind of, you know, spitballing and saying, you know, we see the potential. Myself, Legacy Zero, MZK, Captain Steve. I had him on the stream last week. We were kind of spitballing ideas about future updates and things like that, you know. People see the potential, but for some reason the potential just isn't being met, and that's the only thing that I'm talking about. You know, I'm not saying, oh, Hello Games are terrible for not including variation and things like that. You know, I'm not doing that. Completely different. So what's the reason they don't add it? I mean, modders can. That's exactly what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. You know, they can do it. Why don't they? You know, I think, well, obviously, the only reason is they're focusing on other things like online and VR and things like that, which, don't get me wrong, are good additions. But surely, well, I would have thought you would complete variation before you move on to the other things. Like, and Sean Murray even compared VR to the dessert. Okay, so if you imagine No Man's Sky as a cake, or as like a 3-course meal, the starters are the foundations of the game, the gameplay loop. The main is exploration, base building, and variety, and the ending of the game. And the dessert is VR. So what I'm kind of getting at is, it's kind of a little bit odd the way they've structured the updates. I'm not saying they've done it in a wrong way, because they can do it however they want. It's their game at the end of the day. But I'm just, you know, saying basically that, you know. Pond Cone Bone Zone. Oh, okay. I know I'm always here saying the same thing, but I truly believe this is the answer for the game loop situation. Like people like me, I've had thousands of hours in the game. Yeah, true. I will put my point to that I still have day 1 save. Yeah, that's amazing. That is. I know another person who has a day 1 save. That's pretty decent. I got rid of my day 1 save. Atlas Rises, I think. They should add alien diseases that can get spread from contact with others on the Nexus and space stations. Something like zombie viruses that would infect planets and stuff. A little bit advanced for Hello Games, but I would like to see it. Don't get me wrong. I've had 9,000 hours of playtime. Wow. That's amazing. I've been playing since the first day. Ugh, you must know what I'm talking about then, buddy, when I say the old look. You know, that sci-fi look that we currently just don't have. Hawkmoon Prime, how you doing, buddy? I like No Man's Sky, but think a lot of people will switch to Star Citizen when they get their act together. It will turn into what No Man's Sky should be and could be. Exactly. If Star Citizen sorts out their proc gen on planets, you know, making every planet procedural like No Man's Sky, then I think Star Citizen could be the way forward for myself and the channel. Because at the moment, Hello Game or No Man's Sky just isn't delivering the exploration that I want, you know? Because, see, when was the last time you guys saw a video of a YouTuber or content creator or anyone like that doing a video purely exploring a planet? It just doesn't exist anymore. Those sort of videos just don't exist because it's the same, you know, 20, 30 biomes copy and pasted across 18 quintillion planets, you know? Because so once you've seen a biome once, if you know what I mean, that sort of thing is what I am talking about. But yeah, Star Citizen and No Man's Sky definitely does have a lot of similarities. Do any of you guys in the chat play Star Citizen? That is what I want to know. If you do, are you enjoying it? I do quite enjoy Star Citizen. To an extent. Like I said, if they improve on the proc gen of Star Citizen planets, then, you know, you've got a winner, definitely. Mr. Doody Dude, perhaps the next update will concentrate on exploration. I definitely feel they're going to focus on variation and exploration at some point in the future. Don't get me wrong, they probably will do. That's kind of what the purpose of this is. Kind of firing out ideas of things I would like to see in the inevitable exploration update that is going to come sometime in the future, you know? Star Citizen looks even more realistic in a futuristic kind of way than No Man's Sky looks today. It does. I think if Hello Games added that level of realism to No Man's Sky, I think it would get... the PS4 wouldn't keep up, you know? Xbox One, PS4, that sort of stuff wouldn't keep up. No way, Jose. Even Star Citizen struggles to run on high-end PCs. So, yeah. No, I only play games on a PlayStation 4. Yeah, so does a lot of people. Yeah. I'm trying to look for something, but I can't find it. I'll find it in a minute. Do you think Sony license and now Xbox has prevented a enhanced potential of stuff being adopted? Possibly. I don't know. I think the decider will be the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Scarlet. Whether modding will be a thing within consoles, it hasn't been confirmed so far, so I'm starting to think that it won't be a feature, like modding on consoles. I don't think it's ever going to be a thing, unfortunately. I would love it to happen. Realistically, I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think if Hello Games wants to last a long time, I suggest a model like Mojang. It feels like they kind of are trying to evolve the game in that way, so I would expect them to actually add PG dungeons. Yeah, Mojang, Minecraft, if you don't know, and you've been living under a rock, Minecraft has... I can't remember, is it twice a year or yearly updates? Something like that. But yeah, if Hello Games adopted the same model as Mojang, you know, updates that focus on the gameplay and exploration and things like that, you know, is the way to do it, in my opinion, not adding other things, you know, like milking machines, and which are good. Milking machines are good, don't get me wrong. They, what purpose do they serve? But yeah, they're good, but yeah. Do you still play No Man's Sky PT? Haven't seen any gameplay on the channel for a while. Sure. Wait. Let me get back to that comment in just a second. I just found something. Let me find that. Okay, cool. Right, let's get back to that. Big Pidge, do you still play No Man's Sky PT? Haven't seen any gameplay on the channel for a while. Okay, no gameplay on the channel for a while. Okay, what's this? 4 days ago, No Man's Sky Beyond. That looks like gameplay to me, Big Pidge. You know? Oh, look, a 40-minute video of solid game. Yes, I do play No Man's Sky. Of course I play No Man's Sky. That sounded a bit harsh, didn't it? It wasn't meant to come out harsh, but yes, I do still play No Man's Sky, buddy. Will they have released Star Citizen on the PlayStation 5? Most likely. Most likely. I would love to see it on the PlayStation 5, definitely. I think Sean has even mentioned Minecraft before. Yeah, he's mentioned that Minecraft and No Man's Sky, he kind of wants it to be like Minecraft in terms of the updates and the modding support and things like that. So, yeah. What about adding rivers and style of moving water? Again, and maybe a bit too taxing on moving water. Maybe a bit too taxing on the consoles. Do you still play No Man's Sky? Big Pid? Yes, I do. I've already answered that. Or are you meaning on streams, Big Pidge? Or gameplay? I don't play too much on stream anymore. Mainly because I prefer these kind of, you know, one-on-one videos where I talk to the community. But if you want to see more gameplay on stream, then just let me know and I'll cater to that. But yeah, mainly the gameplay from this channel comes in the form of my weekly, twice a weekly videos, kind of going over the community missions and things like that. What would you expect from a dungeon? I think Zelda when think of dungeons. Yeah, maybe when you complete the dungeon, whether it being some puzzle or combination or things like that, then possibly maybe get some reward like above an S-class. You know, above an S-class would be something like a special reward for going in dungeons, things like that. Lol, yeah, I meant longer videos like streams wasn't knocking these discussions. Oh yeah, possibly, yeah. Hawkmoon Prime, I think No Man's Sky has turned a little bit cartoonish, unfortunately. You'll say, has turned a little bit cartoonish. Is that what it's meant to say? I quite like the old look of the game, and many people do, but some people like the current look of the game. It's kind of, again, one of those sitting on the fence things. I don't know which one to side with. I like the old look, but then I like the new look. It's kind of a hard decision to make, it really is. I much prefer the way space looks. Yeah, never really liked the No Man's Sky space look of an explosion in Paint Factory. I know what you mean, buddy, yeah. I still stand by that they need to make different things found in the different galaxies. I will always push for that. Definitely agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more, buddy. Couldn't agree with you more. Alan prefers the current look. Yeah, like I said a second ago, I'm on the fence. I don't know which one to side with. I love the old look. It was sci-fi. It was... I'm going to pull an image of it on screen now that I literally just tweeted this out a second ago. This one here, you know, I do love this look. It was very explory and made you want to explore, you know. I could explore that for weeks and weeks if I had to. It's just a preference, one of those preference things, you know. Some people like this one, some people hate the new one, some people hate this one, some people like the new one. Again, personal preference, in my honest opinion. Different things found in different galaxies. I'm going to get back to that. So yeah, I do get what you mean, because at the moment, we kind of have, what, like 250 something galaxies of the same old planets, you know? I definitely do think there's a need for different things in different galaxies, you know? Definitely think there's a need for that. Uh, 225. Oh, sorry, 255. Is there really? Yeah. Again, if you think about it, they should limit the galaxies down to like maybe 16, 15, maybe 16, because obviously 16 and the law and the atlas, things like that. Why have 255 galaxies of the same planets, you know? Which doesn't really make too much sense. So I think they should limit it down to maybe 16, 10, something like that. Because there's no need. It's good to have 255 galaxies, but there's no difference, you know? I could create... It's like me creating an essay and photocopying that exact same essay 255 times, you know? It's good to have 255 copies, but in reality, in practicality, it's kind of not really worth it, is it? If all of them are the same, you know? Add in Aliens at War, where you can get join one side or stay neutral and have big space and battles. Yeah, I would love that. I really would. To me, the old look was a No Man's Sky. It was No Man's Sky. That was, in all the promotional footage and trailers, the old look was present. So if you think about it, the old look should be the finished and final look of No Man's Sky, you know? And I know people like the new look, but at the end of the day, the stuff that was in the trailers was the old look. So, you know. Also, there was a... If I go to this, yesterday... Does anyone know of the game Surviving Mars? I got a little notification yesterday that Surviving Mars was free on the... I'm about to say the forbidden word, but the Epic Games Store. I've been... so yeah, this is the Epic Games Store, and apparently it was free yesterday. I think it was free. So, let me go to the store. It is. So yeah, Surviving Mars is currently free on the Epic Games Store, and I'm tempted to do a kind of video series of Surviving Mars, because if you kind of look at it... Okay, apparently this is a 15-second trailer of E. If you look at the images, it kind of... It's like a Sim City, but in space, you know? And I think it would appeal to No Man's Sky fans. So if any of you have actually downloaded the Epic Games Store and are willing to open it up, then I would highly recommend you download this. Highly recommend it. Gas clouds where shields don't function. Yeah, amazing. I would love gas clouds, and it kind of, you know, like he said, messes with your technology and things like that. To me, I thought each galaxy was different. Lush galaxies, hostile, etc. Well, what I'm talking about is the planets present. You know, you can go to different galaxies to find, you know, more frequent lush, more frequent hazardous planets, but the planets are still the same. That's what I'm getting at. The actual look of the planets. Joystick Guru, yeah, there is higher potential of certain types of planets in the different galaxies. Yeah, but obviously the planets are still the same though. There's high potential, but I fell in love with the original sci-fi look and will always keep playing, but always hope for the unexpected as promised. Maybe when I mean, as much as I would like to see the old look make a return, I can't see it happening anytime soon. Because they've clearly gone away from that original vision, and I can't see them bringing it back. So, yeah. In my opinion, anyway. I just miss the sensation of landing somewhere and think, yeah. Again, you never, or me personally, I rarely land on a planet and go, wow. You know? I go, oh, that's pretty cool. But I never go, wow. Which I did a lot in Foundation, Pathfinder, 1.0, things like that. Because of the wild colour scheme and the wild look and the wild terrain and things like that. But the biomes are pretty much the same. Yeah, that's what I'm on about. The biomes are the same. There's more frequent lush planets, for example, but the biomes, or those lush planets, are the same as the biome or the lush planets you would find in Euclid and Hilbert and things like that. Shipwrecks in space always grabbed my imagination. Yeah, it kind of adds like a horror thing to No Man's Sky, doesn't it? You know, find a mysterious shipwreck in space. Why is it there? How did it get there? Things like that. I'm going to put on a bit of light in the background because it's getting quite dark outside. So I'm going to put on a bit of a light. I'll be back in just a second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Light is on. We are rocking and rolling, guys. We are rocking and rolling. Oh, that's just pointless. Yeah, definitely. I mean, pointless is... yeah. It takes so much work to jump through galaxies, and mostly it is for nothing. Pretty much, apart from the more frequent lush or toxic or stormy and things like that, you know. If you've played Doom... dungeons would be amazing. VR for planets too. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up, buddy. You've captured my interest. Definitely. The older look of No Man's Sky is more likely to show up in mods rather than Hello Games. Yeah, that's what I'm on about. If people want the old look, which I personally do, I'm not trying not to get my hopes up too much because, but yeah, because it probably realistically isn't gonna happen, is it? The older look of No Man's... Hawkmoon Prime, what happens to the wow factor in No Man's Sky? Yeah, this is what I'm on about, you know? Like I said a second ago, you'd never land on a... Or me personally, I never land on a planet and go, wow. But the best reaction you can get from me is, oh, that's pretty cool. You know? Never jaw-dropping moments that I used to get in 1.0 all the way up until Foundations, maybe Atlas Rises. But yeah, the wow factor is definitely something that should return. Definitely. Because, you know, No Man's Sky at the end of the day is an exploration game. So, surely that's the focus. I don't think they'll roll back. Forward of fixing loops should be where the remainder of dev time for this game should be spent, in my honest opinion. Yeah, I mean, fixing loops and things like that is good, you know, but we also need some gameplay stuff on the side, you know. I'm a day one player and I saw it so many times that everybody was asking for so much variation. Hello Games says they listened to the community but they forgot their fans. Could we discuss why they don't add it? Yeah. Now, why do you guys think they didn't add variation? Because in a blog post, I think it was about a week before Beyond dropped, and at this point we didn't really know too much about what was happening in Beyond, and they come out, Hello Games, and said, we've been listening closely to how people are playing next, and focused and revolved Beyond around that. So that is why people started to think, oh, variation's coming, because they said, we've been looking at how people responded to previous updates. And what was the number one thing, the number one response from previous updates? Variation. So that's where the whole variation hype come from. So at the end of the day, it isn't down to us YouTubers generating the hype. It's down to Hello Games generating the hype. And now that's a whole other discussion topic for a whole other day, that is. Cave systems have improved and are much larger, but as said, ruined dwellings in some would make them worth interesting. Yeah, kind of like, imagine if you're exploring a cave, and then, I don't know, you suddenly come across a concrete, like a marble wall, and then you have to chip into it, and then you enter some sort of cavern, like an ancient civilization, and statues, and things like that. I know it's a little bit ambitious, but again, wouldn't it be cool if ... Agreed, I hear everyone asking for... Exactly, yeah, everyone's asking for more single-player stuff, more exploration. And what did they focus beyond on? They catered it for online and VR. So, we're kind of adding 2 and 2 together and getting 5. With our kind of thing. Exactly is the correct word, buddy. The problem is that funding VR was the lowest hanging fruit that gave them higher margin in short run. True. The problem isn't that no matter how much new content they add, there will be people that play non-stop just to say they are first to do all, then they're just playing, there's nothing left to do, yeah. Well, I mean, if they add infinite terrain and infinite colours and things like that, then if they push the variety to its limit and people are still bored, then there's nothing really to talk about because they've achieved the pinnacle, you know? But now, people are complaining about variety, and I know full well that they're only utilising about 2% of what can be possible with the engine. So that's why I'm talking about it, you know? I agree. If they've pushed variation to its limits and people are still complaining, then that's down to them. But they're not pushing it nowhere near its limits. So that's why I'm kind of, you know, making these discussion videos. I want to explore, not cook, ride animals, and rewire buildings. Yeah. Who asked for rewiring buildings, may I ask? The core players don't bring money because they first wanted to make every update free with VR and multiplayer. They can sell more. I hope that's the reason I would pay for a variation update. I would more than happy be up for paying for a variation update. Definitely. If there was an update that come out for, say, you know, 20 British pounds, I would be more than happy. Be more than happy. Oh, I just hit the microphone. Sorry about that. When do you think we will get new loot in the Quicksilver store next week? Oh, if you're on PlayStation, the shoulder pads was literally just unlocked. Tier 5 was literally just unlocked. Daniel King, thank you so much, buddy, for donating 7, is that Australian dollars, through Super Chat. You're awesome, buddy. You are awesome. Amazing stuff, buddy. Is that Australian dollars? Correct me if that's completely wrong, but I think that's Australian dollars. Hi PT, you're welcome. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you so much. Who would pay for a variation update? I would, you know, because obviously variation is something that would take a lot of time and effort and money. So I would be more than happy to pay. Lol, rewire reminds me of the Reddit post of the guy who made wire portraits in No Man's Sky. I don't know what you're on about. I'll have a look. I'll have a look. A 7 from Daniel King. Awesome. Who would pay for a variation up? I already read that. I've said this before, but when I want to explore, I play the vanilla version. I'm getting lost in the terrain. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about, you know? The terrain makes so much of a difference. The colours, the atmospherics, the sci-fi look is what I'm talking about, definitely. Yes, it is. I got it correct. Awesome. I'm not usually that good with currency. I'm actually surprised I got that correct. But yeah, thank you again, buddy. Shapeshifter, how you doing? It's amazing in VR, but the planets need a variation update ASAP. Exactly, yeah. And there's some people out there, delusional people in my opinion, that claim variation is the best it can be. And it isn't, you know. Rayrod, who knows probably more about the code and the engine than anyone, confirms that they're only really fully utilising about 2% of what can be done with variation in No Man's Sky. So imagine if they actually took time and effort into utilising the other 98%, you know? I'd pay for a variation update. Yeah, so would a lot of people, buddy. So would a lot of people. Thank you, Procedural Traveller, for not just be a honeymoon No Man's Sky fan. Yeah, I mean, I like to give the facts as they are. We didn't get variation in Beyond, and I want to, you know, put the questions out there. Why not? Will we be getting one in the future? What can they do? I'm not one of these people that claim Beyond was, you know, the best update ever, because it wasn't, you know, it just wasn't. It was a good update, it was a solid update, but I was kind of hoping for more in terms of solo exploration and variation and things like that. Me too, but it's a great thing all updates are free. Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, they probably won't make us pay for an exploration update, but I'm just saying, if they did, you know, in a scenario, if they did make us pay for one, I would be more than happy to, you know. But yeah, thank you so much. We got about a minute left of this stream, guys. But yeah, thank you so much everybody who tuned in and participated and gave your thoughts and opinions on the current state of No Man's Sky. But yeah, thank you so much Daniel King also for donating the $7 Australian dollars, much appreciated. Not sure if variation will fix No Man's Sky overarching issue. Oh yeah, it's not just variation that is the issue. There's a lot of other things. Oh no, I missed it all. Oh, Thunder, how you doing, buddy? I'll give you a little rundown. So basically, at the beginning of the stream, we were talking about how certain community members have weird misconceptions that when we go on Twitter talking about how Beyond wasn't what they imagined, they get hate, you know, and they claim they're hating on Hello Games and things like that. And a prime example happened earlier on in the stream when I'm not even hating on Hello Games here, and someone actually joined and started defending Hello Games and saying, oh, all updates are free, which, you know, props to them for reminding me. But at the end of the day, I'm not hating on Hello Games, and I don't want anyone to think that I am, you know. That's kind of, you know, two things No Man's Sky needs: variation and a lot of Quicksilver loot. Exactly. Also, if you're on PS4, just before this stream ends, if you are on PS4, the shoulder pads were literally just unlocked. Tier 5 is complete on PS4. Go unlock those shoulder pads. Go spend your Quicksilver. Yeah, PC, probably a few days' time, because we're still on like 60, 67, 68%. Something like that. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. I will see you later. See you later. Goodbye everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you for tuning in. See ya.